Everyone, welcome back to another video, second video on the channel. And today, guys, we're going to talk about nothing paranormal or nothing UFO related, I don't think, but something very strange, very odd. I label it in the high strangeness realm of things. So to kick it off, guys, there's a guy called Paul Sinclair who runs the Truth Proof channel. I'll link him down below, guys, if you haven't looked at Paul's research and all the stuff he does. Definitely check him out. Great researcher, boots on the ground guy, very humble guy, lovely guy. And it would have been last year sometime now, guys. I'll link that video in the description too. I went on Paul's channel and spoke about all the things that I'm going to cover on this channel, basically. Stuff from childhood all the way up through, up until the end of my military career. And the end of that video, I speak about the UFO that I spoke about on here. So Paul covers East Yorkshire. Well, he covers further than that, but that's predominantly where his area is. And in particular, he covers the cliffs at Bempton. And I was watching his channel for years before I went on as a guest. And after I went on as a guest and I was watching more of his lives that he does, and the last transmission that he does with Chris Turner. So shout out to Chris as well. I'll link his channel, guys, in the description. Go and show them both some support. And so anyway, yeah, guys, so after watching all this stuff and being on his podcast and doing all that stuff, I went down there in February, last weekend of February of this year, 2025. And we got an Airbnb down there, pretty close to Bempton Cliffs, me and my partner. And so a little background of Bempton Cliffs, guys, is all sorts of going there. There's UFOs, shadow men, cryptid sightings, disembodied voices, you name it, guys, it happens down at the cliffs, yeah? So Friday, leaves work 5 o'clock, heads down, takes me about 3 hours to get there, yeah? So we got there about maybe 8:30. And gets the Airbnb, gets checked in, everything, throws the bags in, and I say, right, let's go up. So we must have got up there, guys, for maybe about 9 o'clock. And the night we got there, I believe it was the last night that so on the cliff tops, guys, you can fish from the cliff tops, but obviously there's a season for it. Then, there's a length of time you can do it from. And I believe, guys, that was the last night that the fishermen could fish off the cliffs. So when we went up there was 2 or 3 guys up there fishing. Now, I don't know whether that put me at ease or whether that put maybe some of my, not fears, but maybe my trepidation there because of all the things that had happened. So, like I say, guys, a couple of men fishing down there, and the atmosphere up there, guys, was fine. It was quite enjoyable. We spent maybe about an hour up there, and because of both being at work on the Friday, we decided to. Well, I decided I was quite tight, so I said, look, we'll call it night. So about 10 o'clock, we called it night and we left. So we heads back, guys, gets back to the Airbnb and go sleep. Gets up next morning, which would be the Saturday, and we went for a bit of a mooch. So we went down Danes Dyke and we went to a couple other places where they've seen big cats and all that type of stuff. So anyway, guys, so Saturday night comes and we're ready and excited to go down to Bempton Cliffs. So throw stuff in the car, because obviously late February, guys, quite cold. So we get kitted up, throws our extra from the car, heads off down to Bempton Cliffs. And if you've ever been to Bempton Cliffs, guys, there's the main road that you go. So it's an RSPB, guys, during the day. So on the Saturday as well, we went there during the day, and there's loads of people there. There's loads of people who go watch the birds and all that type of stuff. So we went there during the day, and it was nice. There's nothing untoward, or I didn't get negative feelings down there. So there's a main track, guys, down at the RSPB car park, and so we turned onto that road, And as soon as we turned onto that road, guys, I don't know if it was anxiety, but I had an horrendous feeling. And the further we drove down that road, the worse it got, to the point where I just wanted to turn the car around and leave. And I didn't want to freak my partner out by saying, I've got a terrible feeling about this, you know, I think we should turn back. So I just cried in front out and braved it out. So we get to the car park, jumps out, puts our boots and that on, and heads off out the main track, out the RSPB. So when we packed up, guys, no one else there. We were the only car there, yeah? So we heads out onto the main track, and we headed off to the right-hand side. So we heads off down there, and we sat on one of the benches along the right-hand side. And me and my partner then were both talking, saying how it had a real ominous feeling to it. Didn't see anything or experience anything whilst we were sat there. Although we did hear what we thought was a car door close, or that type of metallic clunky sound. And we looked back to us because the car park would be behind us. And we looked over, and there was no headlights, or there wasn't anything like that we could see. And then nobody came down from there that we saw. So that was kind of that at that point, guys. And then as we sat there, I said, should we take a walk over to where RAF Bempton would be? And that would have been to our left-hand side as we were looking out over the sea at the cliffs. And then at that point, my partner said, I think I've just seen a light over towards where RAF Bempton would be. So I says, cool, we'll head over that way then. So we start walking over to where RAF Bempton is. And we get to where RAF Bempton is, and there's a stand there, guys, that you can obviously stand on, look at the birds during the day, and then it's straight at the cliffs, so you can see out the cliff tops. So as we stood there, guys, my partner said, there's an aeroplane above us, and this aeroplane, guys, was just circling. It must have been circling for maybe 15 minutes, constantly. No searchlight or spot or anything like that. Was just, this plane was constantly circling. Later on, we discovered that it was a police aeroplane that was just circling above us. And it must have been for about 15 minutes. Then at this point, we didn't hear anything, but we saw lights at the car park. So we obviously assumed, and rightly saw, that people then arrived at the cliff tops. Now, they came out of the car park, guys, and they headed straight for where we originally were, on the right-hand side. So as they were walking down there, I said to my partner, look, I'll put my head torch on. So in case it was Paul, that mentioned earlier from Truth Proof, or some of the other guys who go down there and, spend a lot of time down there, I didn't want them thinking there was something weird going on at our stand, whether we were a shadow figure or something. I just wanted to let people know we were there. So I put my head torch on, and then I turned it on and looked over to them, and then turned it back off. Then at this point, these three people who were walking down the track immediately turned round and headed over to where we were. So at this point, I thought it could have been Paul, because he knew I was up there, and some of the people that he goes up there with. So as we stood at the stood at the stand, looking out the sea, looking at the sky, seeing if we could see anything, experience anything. And then these three people arrive from down the track, and then this is when the situation, guys, gets pretty strange, even for me, with all the stuff I've experienced. So these three people, guys, came up to the stand, 2 men and a woman. And the first guy was the only guy who said anything, and then the other two stood directly behind him, like in a straight line, which in itself I thought was weird. And they didn't speak to me or each other. It was just this big guy at the front who spoke to me. And he had his head torch in my face, so I couldn't see them. At first, I couldn't see what they looked like. I couldn't see what colour they have, because obviously the light was in my face. So then that's when I put my head torch on to be able to see them, to do the same what they were doing to us. And I stood off we moved off to the side, so his head torch wasn't directly in my eyesight, and that's when I was able to see it was a man, and it was 2 men and a woman. And the first thing he said to me, guys, was, he didn't say, hi, how are you, what you're doing up here, nothing like that. The first thing he said to me was, that's your Audi in the car park. Wasn't a question, guys, it was a statement. That's your Audi in the car park. And I said, yeah, okay, it's our Audi in the car park. He then said, what are you doing up here? And then I said, well, I didn't want to say we were up there looking for shadow people or ghosts or UFOs, because I didn't know who these guys were. So at the time, I just said, we're just out with your stargazing, because there's no light pollution out there, guys, so you can see. The sky looks great out there. So then it was at this point I said to him, well, who are you? And he then said he was search and rescue. And when I looked at him, guys, he looked, they were all wearing, like, you know, when you go past a motorway and you see like the workmen on the side of the motorway who wear that specific type of clothing, whether it be high vis, orange or yellow, that type of thing. So it was that clothing, but it was dark blue with like the silver strips. And there was no other insignia on them, guys, to say they were search and rescue. They had no kit on them. They had no equipment on them. No, nothing at all like that. So he said he was search and rescue. So then I said, well, what are you doing up here? And he said, his exact words were, we are looking for a nondescript male, or nondescript white male. And then he said, have you seen him? I said, well, if he's nondescript, how do I know if I've seen him? And he said, well, that's what I'm asking you. Have you seen a nondescript male up here? And I said, I haven't, but I haven't seen anyone up here. It's just been me and my partner. We haven't seen anyone else up here. So he said, right, okay. So then I said to him, what do I do if I see this nondescript male? And he's like, just ring 999 and let them know that you've saw them. I was like, right, okay. He then didn't say anything, and then these three guys, the two guys and woman, turned around and then walked off towards, in the direction of, so if we're looking at RAF Bempton now, to the right-hand side, they walked off that way. Now, with me being in the military, guys, and having some experience with the search rescue people, working with them, helping them out at certain points, I know the kind of kit and equipment they use. I know what uniform they have, which was ringing alarm bells because they had none of that on them. And I also know how you spread out when you're looking for someone or something. And normally we would be in extended line, in contact with each other, looking at the ground, looking for signs, looking for whatever we were looking for, yeah? But these three people, guys, took off and just walked in a straight line, heads down at the floor, not talking. And I thought, if you're looking for this guy that they allegedly said they were looking for, if you're looking for him, why are you not spread out in an extended line? Why are you not making the most of the three people that you have? Being in single file, walking with your heads down, directly behind each other, that was another thing, guys, that raised my alarm bells. And I thought, these guys aren't search and rescue. All the vibe off them was wrong. And so they're set off, guys, walking like down that track past RAF Bempton, like I said. So then at this point, I turned around to talk to my partner, and she said that there was a police boat down right at the bottom of the cliffs. And it was multicoloured lights, had to be a boat, and it was right down near the cliffs. So I said, well, look, if these guys really are search and rescue, I don't want them to keep thinking that we're the people that they're looking for. And if they aren't search and rescue, then I don't want to be here anyway. So I said, look, we'll just head back to the car and we'll go home. We'll go back to the Airbnb. It was cool. So we started walking off, guys, back to the RSPB car park where we were, probably a couple of 100 metres maybe, straight up the track. The instant, guys, we started walking up to the RSPB, those three guys who said they were allegedly looking for someone immediately turned around and started following us back to the car park. And we don't move slow, we don't walk slow. And it was cold and we were shifting towards that car park. And the next thing I know, they were breathing down our necks. That's how close to it was. So I said, Liam, look, when we get the car, I'll open it, just immediately jump in the car. Don't bother taking the boots and off. We'll just get in the car. As we get up to into the car park, guys, there was a white pickup truck, like with a double cab on the back, and then some random red car, 2 cars in there. Nothing with any search and rescue insignia on, nothing to identify them to say they were anything official, yeah? So in the car park, guys, we're parked up, and then directly in front of us is like a big hedgerow, and then you've got the RSPB building next to it, yeah? As I've opened the car for me and my partner to get in, a man and woman have jumped out of that hedgerow and startled us because they came out of nowhere. And originally when we first seen them, there was only 3 head torches. So my mistake, really, the 3 people behind us, I assume were the only people there. We then get to the car, and then a man and woman jump out of this hedgerow pretty much directly where our car was. So then that put me on the back foot. I said to my partner, look, get in the car. And as she opened the door to get in the car, the man and woman who jumped out of the bushes, the woman said to me and my partner, have you two been interrogated yet? And that word, guys, in itself threw me, because it's an obvious and intentional word to use. Have you been interrogated? She didn't come out the hedge and say, oh, look, guys, has my colleague spoken to you about the missing guy? Have you seen anything? It was straight to, have you been interrogated? And my partner was like, what on earth is that about? Have we been interrogated? Then the big guy who had been talking to me spoke up from behind me, said, I've already spoke to them. Don't worry about it. So then we've jumped in the car. Obviously, I've locked the doors, and I thought, right, I'll wait for these 2 vehicles to leave, and then we'll head off. Must have been sat there, guys, for maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and none of them moving. So the 3 people who were behind us originally went into the white pickup truck, and then these 2 people from the hedgerow went into this red car. I can't remember what make it was. And they were just sat there, guys, watching us. So it must have been 5 to 10 minutes. And then I was like, look, I'm just going to leave here. So I reverses out, and as soon as I pull off, they follow us, both cars, the pickup truck and the red car. And then as we're driving through, guys, the Airbnb, as we get to like a T-junction, the red car turns off, which was originally behind us, turns off and turns left, and it's gone. I'm thinking, well, at least they're going. So then as I turn right, sorry, guys, then the white pickup follows us all the way back to the Airbnb, to the point where we park up the Airbnb and get out, and the pickup truck has stopped outside where we are. And I said to my partner, look, let's just go into there. Let's just go to the Airbnb, and we'll lock the doors type thing, and that was it. And then obviously I could only assume, guys, the white pickup truck left. So that was how that encounter ended, guys. Very, very strange. Very creepy. Very, very, very strange vibe off them. Like I say, guys, everything was screaming to me. Combat indicators that they weren't search and rescue. I don't know who they were. But they didn't act like search and rescue. Didn't conduct themselves like search and rescue. Not for the experience that I've worked with search and rescue anyway. So then fast forward. So then the next day, guys, I was like, who it is? So the next day, my partner was like, that thing's really bothering me about that woman saying you've been interrogated. So she was on the Google, on the internet, trying to find if there was any reports of this man going missing. And we couldn't find anything, guys, except for a guy called... So the only thing we could find, guys, was a guy called Russell Bowling went missing. And it would have been... So we were up there, guys, so it would have been the 1st of March, which was the Saturday night. The 2nd of March was his 15th year anniversary from going missing at Bempton Cliffs. That was the only thing, guys, we could find anything to do with the person going missing up there. There was nothing on any of the social medias, any of the internet, nothing about a guy going missing that night that when we were there. So then fast forward, guys, I come home, back up Newcastle, back into work, message Paul and say, really weird thing happened with these alleged search rescue. Ring Paul, have a bit of a debrief with him, go through it with him. So then at this point, I'm like, well, I'm just going to reach out to Bridlington Search and Rescue then on the socials, see what they say. So I sent him a quick message saying, look, my name's Andy. I was up at Bempton Cliffs on Saturday night. Were you there? and you get the generic thing straight back. This web page, this messenger isn't monitored. Whenever it's seen, someone will get back to you type message. Literally, guys, within 2 seconds, someone pinged me straight back saying, so I only said, hi, Andy. Not hi, Andy. I only said at the end, I said, oh, thanks for letting me know, Andy, at the end of my message. So they're pinged back straight away saying, hi, Andy Hardy, my full name. And I was like, how on earth do they know my full name? And they were like, yep, we were up there on Saturday night. Can't tell you any more than that. So then I fired the question back saying, thanks for letting me know. Did the guys up there find the man they were allegedly looking for? Nothing. Blocked. No response back. Can't get back in touch with them. Nothing. That was how that ended. So then fast forward to the Awakening conference down in Manchester this year. Spoke to a guy there who knows someone on the Brilliant Search and Rescue. And according to him, nobody was up there that night. Saturday, 1st March 2025, according to, and I trust the guy who told me, according to him and the guy who knows the Brilliant Search and Rescue, there was no one up there on that Saturday night. So I didn't get what I was hoping for, guys. I didn't get to see, you know, the lights that are up there, or the UFOs, or the Shadow Man, or the Void Voices. Didn't get any of that. But I did get something that I find extremely, extremely strange. And who were those guys up there for? Were they up there for me? Was it happenstance, or were they up there for Paul and the team that's up there all the time? Or were they looking for someone in particular? Were they looking for something else that was allegedly going on? So yeah, guys, so that was my strange encounter at Bempton Cliffs. I'm planning on getting down there, guys, later on in the year again, just to have another run through it, another pop it, see if I see anything, see if I experience anything different. And with me having this new channel, guys, I will, when I go down there this time, guys, I'll record it. And I call my experiences. I'll go to Dane's Dyke, I'll go to Speaking Beach. I'll do all that stuff, guys, and put a little video together for you, so people who can't get out to these locations can see a bit of what it's like in the dark, what it's like in the daytime. And I'll show you where the interactions happen with these search and rescue people and all that good stuff. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it's been a bit of a long one, but I thought it was an interesting video for you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.